Charlie Strong's Texas Longhorns open up a 1-point favorite over West Virginia this week. Texas currently laying 2 to 2.5. The total is 64. Welcome to Wager Talk, everybody. I'm Scott. He's Bryan Leonard. He's Ralph Michaels. And Ralph, I wanted to start with you. Charlie Strong was all but out as head coach just 3 or 4 weeks ago in Austin, Texas. And he still might be at the end of the season, but his troops are still playing hard for him going into this game against the Mountaineers. They got a win, and I should say if they get a win over a one-loss West Virginia team, it could go a long way maybe into him staying around in Austin, Texas a little bit longer. It'll be awfully tough for them to get rid of him, a lot tougher than it was just a few weeks ago. Your thoughts on this week's matchup between West Virginia and the Texas Longhorns?
You know, I think Charlie Strong in the Texas run, beating Baylor 2 weeks ago and Texas Tech last week, has this line where it is. I think West Virginia is a far better team. I think they should be laying a field goal, perhaps more than that. I have the offenses even. I have West Virginia with a superior defense. Just look at what they've done in the Big 12 this year. West Virginia has outgained every foe, and their only loss was to Oklahoma State because they were -3 in turnovers. Texas has got outgained in 3 of their Big 12 games. So I think you have 2 teams, good offenses. West Virginia has had a nice schedule. They haven't played back-to-back road games, so they were at home last week, an easy game against Kansas. They went to Texas Tech, outgained them by 280 yards, went to Oklahoma State, outgained them by 60 yards. No problem with them going on the road. I think it's an upset. I'm not going to call it an upset. I think West Virginia, again, far better team, better defense, in a great situation.
Brian, a couple of quick notes we talked about at the top. Texas just won its last 2 games, beating Baylor and Texas Tech. But you dig into the box scores a little bit, and you see they've still given up over 1,100 yards in those 2 games combined. They gave up 100 plays to one team, 96 to the other. That is extremely taxing, especially on a defense that's already quite shaky. The thing about West Virginia is they're probably more normal, I'm sure you guys would agree, with their play calling on offense than the rest of the Big 12. They're still putting up 510 yards a game, but it's a little bit more we can take you on in the trenches and knock you off the blocks. Not quite as high-powered or throwing the football downfield all day like some of these other teams. And I think that plays into Texas already having to face almost 200 plays the last 2 weeks, makes the Longhorns' job up front even tougher.
Yeah, I agree. To me, the big advantage for West Virginia here is the line play. I think they've got the best line, combined line in this conference. And you're coming off of 2 teams in Baylor and Texas Tech that don't play a lot of defense. And now you're playing, in my opinion, the best defense in the conference. And you take a look at what West Virginia has done against teams other than the Oklahoma State game, in which they had the -3 turnovers. They've done very well against these teams that like to spread it out a little bit. I know Texas likes to run it a little bit also. But to me, the wrong team is favored in this game. And if this thing hits 3, it's going to be on my client's card.
Yep, I agree. Ralph, I was going to finish this up by saying, that I think this unusual 335 defense that West Virginia likes to play at times throughout a game is really going to mess with the Texas Longhorn offense a bit. And I agree with what Brian just said. I think even right now, this is probably going to end up on my client's card this week talking about West Virginia, even if it doesn't get to 3. I also think that I know a lot of people in this town that if it does get to 3, you better be quick because it's going to come back real fast. Your final thoughts on this game?
You know what? Not the normal home edge for Texas. This isn't Notre Dame being played on a primetime game Sunday when the whole nation's watching. It's now getting played at 11 a.m. Central. Fan base is a lot less. Crowd's going to be less into the game. Again, helps the home field edge for the visitor.
All right, guys, you can take $10 off any purchase this weekend. All you got to do is use the coupon code HUSKIES10. And don't forget, you can get an entire weekend from any Wager Talk handicapper, the capper of your choice. Entire weekend in all sports for only $69, excuse me. Thanks for checking us out with West Virginia, Texas. More college football, UFC college basketball videos posted. Check them all out. I'm Scott. He's Brian. He's Ralph. West Virginia plus the points on Saturday.